Hey guys, this is Rick coming at you with Weed to No Basis, the podcast for all things cannabis business related. Are you an entrepreneur? Have something you wanted to create, something you wanted to bring to life in the cannabis industry? Maybe you've always wanted to partake in one of the biggest industries in modern day history. This is the podcast. Hey guys, this is Rick, and welcome to Hemp Q. This is where the magic happens. I mean magic as far as us being on camera. Talking about the business of cannabis. Don't go there, you guys. Do not go there, okay? Chris, the producer's back there going, oh, Jesus. He's going, oh, please don't go there, Rick. But listen, thanks for being here in our living room. This is Hemp Q. We're here in downtown San Antonio, Texas, where cannabis should not even be talked about. And of course, this is the epicenter. And if you're listening, if you're watching this in your car, you got your earbuds on, remember, it's because you two are on a weed to know basis. And just as a recap, you know, our audience, the person who we really speak to is that cannabis startup entrepreneur, the one who has an idea. You've got the idea that's going to shift the cannabis world. You are already in launch mode or your scale mode. You're our audience. Of course, that's not just the only person, but this show is dedicated to you, to dispel some of the things, to give you real, raw information, and to tell you what's working today in the modern cannabis entrepreneurial ecosystem. And I really wanted to, speaking of ecosystem, that's really where I want to kind of dovetail today, because last night, literally last night, so here we are, we're in the summer of 2019, and last night, my city, San Antonio, did something magnanimous. And I'm going to share with you what that means. And then as I'm sharing this with you guys, I want you to think about your city and how this can be parlayed and maybe done in your city, whether it's Temple, Texas, or Enid, Oklahoma, or Kansas City, Kansas, or Boston, Mass. I want you to think about what I'm going to share with you and say, I want to do that in our city. I want my city to embrace this the way San Antonio just did last night. But here's what happened. I've been a part of the startup community for a long time. Most notably now, we've pivoted only to cannabis, meaning hemp, CBD, marijuana companies. We work with companies across the U.S., whether you are a plant-touching or non-plant-touching business, ancillary, support, whatever. Our goal is to help that business owner, that entrepreneur, become a more savvy cannabis entrepreneur and succeed. Last night, something really, really cool happened in San Antonio, Texas. And San Antonio, guys, if you're not sure, Texas is obviously one of the biggest states, I think second to Alaska, the biggest continental United state in the U.S., and San Antonio is pretty much right in the center of the state. San Antonio really shouldn't be a place where cannabis is freely discussed, where we talk about weed or pot or marijuana, and CBD is just now really, really rearing its beautiful green head. It's just now hitting the consciousness of our city in a big way, and arguably the entire state. But what happened yesterday is we arranged, through a series of conversations, we were able to launch a 3-part series. Last night was part 1 with San Antonio's largest tech incubator. And if you're not quite sure what an incubator is, I don't mean where you put chicken eggs and they hatch. I mean where businesses are birthed. So the incubator in town is called Geekdom, like as in geeks. It was launched many years ago by a local billionaire. Actually, it was co-founded by several folks, and it was launched to support the burgeoning technology community here in San Antonio. And just like having that avatar of tech, like ours as cannabis operators, what happened is it started to attract a lot of other types of startups. Over the last year or so, there's been a lot of cannabis startups that have emerged from Geekdom. CBD companies. Some of them are plant-touching operators, marketing companies, design companies, web dev companies. They have launched now cannabis-centric startups out of Geekdom. And that really got my ears perked up. You see, because I'm still pretty in tune to the startup community across the U.S., a lot in San Antonio because this is my home, and plus we speak all over the country at cannabis conventions and conferences and expos, so our ear is to the ground on a very visceral level. So I thought, why not San Antonio? Why not partner a cannabis company with a traditionally known tech incubator, very large, almost 2,000 members? Why not partner with them and really shine the spotlight on cannabis startups in our city? And through the course of several conversations, guys, with respect to a lot of folks, it's a scary prospect. It's a scary topic. It is. That's just point blank. It's still very gray. Geekdom took a stance, and they said, let's do it. And it was, at the moment when the CEO of Geekdom agreed to co-produce this series, it's almost like the clouds parted and you could hear the harps. I'm serious, guys, because I'm like, this is a momentous occasion for our city, for the industry as a whole. So last night was event number 1. Initially, it was supposed to be 85 people, and then it went to 100. And then because of the outpouring of reservations, it went to 150, then 160, then 165. What I mean by all that is the city spoke. What I mean by those numbers isn't to say, wow, you guys did something cool. What I mean by that is that San Antonio stood up. San Antonio rose up. San Antonio showed up. San Antonio packed the house. And you know that because a few things. One, all the beer was gone. Like, I'm serious. They had beer there. It was sponsored. And all the pizza wasn't all quite gone, but it was pretty much demolished. It was a great event. And as evidenced by this, because there were several startup companies there, one of them was Sensi Magazine, which is establishing a large presence here in San Antonio. Sensi Magazine, guys, check them out. They're based out of Denver. They are in traditionally marijuana-centric markets. So one, it begs a question, why San Antonio? And I've said this before, San Antonio is the epicenter of cannabis in the state of Texas. And I would even say in the entire breadbasket, the middle part of our country. I believed it, I said it. Sensi is now launching a franchise here. It's a cannabis lifestyle magazine in San Antonio. Not Austin, not Houston, not Dallas, not Abilene, not El Paso, not Laredo, San Antonio. MJs. Amos is doing some fantastic things. And more than that, guys, is his heart is truly about this industry. It's not about a product that he sells, and it's a product. It's about the mission. MJs was there, Amos Lozano. Meredith from Sensi Magazine. There was the Green Lab, which is a local marketing company, guys. They were also present, and a force last night. So last night, and then the Rodkeys, which are doing some fantastic things in the dispensary scene, in the literal CBD dispensary scene in our city. They were present, and among dozens upon dozens of other people, guys. But I bring up those companies specific because after we did a brief intro, there was a 20-minute intro on basically where the industry was, where it is today, and where we believe it's headed. After a 20-minute overview, we had about an hour very robust panel discussion. And the questions that emerged were power. The questions that emerge, guys, are testament to the fact that San Antonio is primed. Our city is ready. And here's the thing. When I opened this up, I thought what I said to you was keep your eyes and ears open to this, because these are things that can absolutely be done in your cities. Your cities. Whether, again, you're in Abilene, you're in Topeka, Kansas, you're in Sacramento, California, wherever you are, guys, these are the kinds of events that begin to shift the mindset, the mentality of the people who aren't quite sure what this whole green rush is about. Feel me? It's these events. At its core, last night was one of the largest CBD education events that our city has ever seen. And I gotta say, I'm just so darn proud. I'm so darn proud to call myself a Texan by way of California, to call myself a San Antonian. I'm so darn proud to have been a part of the very first CBD education event that was partnered with one of the largest incubators in the state of Texas. I'm so darn proud, all that I just said, and to say that we did it in San Antonio. And the news came out too. And here's the kicker, guys. Print media came out. San Antonio Express News. Thank you, guys. Univision, Telemundo. And yes, I had to pull my very rudimentary Spanish out for one of the live interviews. Spectrum News came out. Rivard Report. There were a number of bloggers who are going to be talking about this. There was Geekdom Media. And of course, there's us. We to no basis. We were an active presence there. In fact, I was on the panel. But guys, the city has spoken. And the compelling message behind what I just shared with you is that wherever you're at, whatever city you're in. Maybe you're at an inflection point in your city, your municipality, your zip code, where it's still a very misunderstood phenomenon, where people don't know what the hell CBD is, or they're trying to figure out about this whole marijuana thing. Guys, it starts with education. It starts with bringing communities together and having a robust, intelligent, informational discussion around what this industry is doing. And again, not just from a standpoint of a consumer. Don't ever use the word user. Get that word out of your head. Not only from the standpoint of a consumer, but the standpoint of the entrepreneurs who are launching businesses, the standpoint of the parent who's trying to understand why their kids are really gravitating towards this crazy new CBD thing, from the standpoint of the investor. Maybe you're an angel investor, maybe you're part of a venture capital group or a private equity, and you're trying to figure out how you parlay some of your funds into this explosive industry. Maybe you're just curious. Maybe you're a lawmaker. Guys, that's the importance of what happened last night. The community came together. There in that room, as in my mind's eye, I can see the room. There were, again, writers, there were bloggers, there were students, there were startup entrepreneurs, there were established business owners, there were bankers, there was private equity folks, and I say this because I know who they are. This is my city. And I looked into the audience last night, because we gave the 20-minute opening keynote, and I said, look at who is here. Look at who came to downtown San Antonio on a Wednesday night. And it wasn't for the free beer and pizza. It was for the discussion. And it was mind-blowing, guys. It was mind-blowing. Imagine what you can do in your neck of the woods. Imagine what you can do when you take this message in an authentic way, in a responsible way, in a way that really transmits responsibility and education. And you do these in a way such that you don't infuriate people. You don't polarize the industry. You don't make it an us versus them thing. You bring these events, these meetings, these gatherings together under the guise of education. And together we can rise. And here's the real reason why. You can't stop it. The real reason why is it's here, and it's here to stay. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, whether you accept it or not, what's going on in the cannabis industry, from CBD hemp to medical marijuana to recreational marijuana, it is on the bullet train of fast growth. And whether you like it or not, or know it or not, it is here. I'm not saying you have to embrace it. I'm just saying you owe it to yourself to understand it. If you're curious about how we did it, honestly, there's no magic to it, guys. If you're curious about, well, how does that guy on that show, We To Know Basis, arrange a partnership with the CEO of a very large tech incubator with 2,000 members, and then do a 3-part series, the part 1 of which was just launched with the sellout crowd? How do we do that? If you're really curious, guys, and if I was you, I'd be, reach out to us. I'm serious. Leave a comment. Not if you're driving. Pull over and put a comment down there. Say, Rick, I'm curious. Hit us up on Instagram. You can DM me on Instagram, guys. I manage my own profile. It's Planet Boy. You can go to our Instagram profile here on We To Know Basis and say, hey, I'm curious. You can go to our website, greenseedalliance.com. Guys, the point is to do something positive. The point is to take this message and take it to the masses. The point is to do this responsibly. And if you need help doing it, I'll be your huckleberry. But serious, guys, that's what happened last night. And I'm on almost a literal green cloud 9 today, because even when we got up this morning, the news was still talking about it. The front page of the Rivard Report this morning, one of the headline articles was this incredible event that just happened in the city of San Antonio around the cannabis industry. And what a responsible conversation we had. Guys, it's time we bring some responsibility to this industry. It's time we bring some authenticity. It's time we bring some, my words, and I'll stand by it, some ethics. It's time we elevate the game of this industry, and it's your job to do it. If you need help, we're here. I got your back. But seriously, guys, exciting times. And remember, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, leave your comments below. We're happy to respond. Our producer, Chris, behind the camera, and him and I both respond to messages, whether they're DMs, emails, whatever, even tweets. If you're watching this, guys, if you're listening to this, it's because you too are on a we to know basis. Thank you guys for coming to my living room. Have an awesome rest of the day. Peace.